Tip the Wookiee bartenders. 20%, no droids, no binators, no Raylos, no Ray Nobodies, no Disney sequel trilogy fans of any kind. We don't do daddy hate porn here. Anyway, today, want to talk a little bit about a couple of things. First off, Carl Weathers stated in the article that is attached to this video that Mandalorian Season 3 is going to start filming in September, and he is going to be in one of the episodes. And just by the way, Katie Sackhoff has been talking. I saw this coming. I thought they were actually going to start filming sooner. In fact, I thought that's what Brendan, the Joker Wayne, was talking about. Obviously, he was not. In that other video I did. Anyway, what else? So there you go. So I don't know what it's going to be about. I suspect it's going to be about liberating Mandalore and Din Djarin's issues with Bo-Katan. And I suspect that Din Djarin probably really doesn't want to be the Mandalore, if you know what I mean. I don't really see that as part of the story, but I don't know. Visions came out, the trailer. All right, as someone who is not a fan of anime, but has lived in Asia, I lived in Seoul for 2 years, military spouse, and I've been to Japan. I think anime for a lot of people is an acquired taste because it's a completely different animation style. I was not a fan of Speed Racer. When I was a kid, I'd turn the channel, I'd be looking for like Bugs Bunny and Daffy, or the old school Tom and Jerry from the 40s and 50s, or the Flintstones. Not anime. I didn't like Speed Racer. It really there's something I think missing. Yeah, Animaniacs. There's something missing, I think, for me. Okay, I know a lot of people like it, and that's great. Go Speed Racer. I'm like, no, thank you. Snore. Yeah, and one of the problems I have is that first off, it's not canon, like I said in the video that I uploaded. But still, one of the artists made a point to create his show about the aftermath after the Rise of Skywalker. And they lied him. They were like, okay, fine. It's like, this just seems like it's a conglomeration of a bunch of Japanese artists' interpretations and what they want, just what their ideas. You'll notice that there's at least a blonde woman, and I think a blonde guy, which is not even part of George Lucas's thing. At least a blonde woman. Here's a little trivia. The lead singer of Berlin actually tried out for the part of Princess Leia. I'm not kidding. And her audition tape is hilarious because she's sitting with Harrison Ford and she's looking at him like she's scared to death before, he became this huge star. And it's really funny, the difference between her and she was too young to play the role. I mean, she just really was. But the difference between her and Carrie is night and day. Carrie's like, I mean, she was so, I think, at ease, even though she was forming a definite crush on Ford. She was so at ease with that she was going to get this. So back to, so there could have been a blonde Princess Leia. But you notice that George Lucas sort of hires women that sort of kind of look alike. And a lot of people are like, brunettes, just like Kathy Kennedy. Padme came long before Kathy Kennedy showed up, and so did Leia. So that's a George Lucas thing. Okay, and it's when I was a kid, I thought it was great. Now it's like, a little more diversity, at least make, the thing about people, and this is not George's fault, the thing about people that worry about hair color, skin color, gender, and what's between your legs and what you do with it, when they see white, they only see white. They don't realize there's a myriad of ethnicities. Irish and English are not the same. And trust me, if you tried to say they were, there would be a lot of pissed off people going on. German and Austrians are definitely not the same. All right, they hate each other. I'm not kidding. A lot of bad blood under the bridge ever since, before World War II. Poles and Czechs are not the same. Russians and Hungarians are not, Hungarians are not the same. Greeks and Italians are not the same. Italians, Greeks, and Spaniards are not the same. But there's a whole race, or a group of SJWs that honestly think if you're white, that you're just white. They look at me and go, well, she's just white. And it's like, well, I'm German, Norwegian, and Welsh with some Scots and Jewish in me, okay? To me, it's just a skin color. When you look at the myriad of languages spoken by Caucasian people, German, Scandinavian languages, Russian, Greek, Magyar, Italian, French, Spanish, Dutch, Lithuanian, they're Rhétoromanche and German and French in Switzerland, Finnish. You have Gaelic, Irish Gaelic, Scots Gaelic, Welsh is a language. So it's really interesting to me, but I don't want to talk about that. So, but what's really funny is that the Japanese often represent that. They represent white people as being white. Okay, they respect the differences in anime, and it's really interesting to me. Sorry, some jackass called me. I think the people who are trying to get me to buy insurance are switching numbers. I block them every time they call. Don't expect political correctness to be in this. The Japanese hate it. One of the reasons why Kathy Kennedy era Star Wars has failed so badly in China, Japan, etc. It's because of the intersectional bullshit going on. So at least don't expect that. But again, it's anime. It doesn't trip my trigger. I don't like the fact that at least one of the artists is exploring the aftermath of the apocalypse, which is what I call the rise of Skywalker. And what are you talking about? There's no place to take these characters. There really isn't. There isn't. It's very interesting to me where this all is going to go. I'm going to watch the first episode, and I'll probably decide right then and there if I like it or not. There are people screaming on the Star Wars channel, go and ratio it. By the way, go vote it down. And mention Kennedy or Gina or whatever. There are people there whining about, well, they're going to have it dubbed and blah, 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 and people are going to complain. This guy was probably refers to himself as Latinx. I don't know Latino or Latina that likes that. But the way this guy was talking, he's guilty. He wants white people to feel guilty. And I'm like, look, I've lived in Asia. I have watched dubbed And I got a really hilarious story about Hill Street Blues dubbed in Poland, and a guy did all the voices, including the voice of Mrs. Ferrello. I'm laying there in bed. It's 2 in the morning. I'm at a hotel by myself. And I started laughing. I couldn't stop. I could not stop laughing. It was the funniest fucking thing I've ever seen in my life. I mean, I'm like, Poland. And I mean, not Warsaw, not Warsaw. It was bumfuck Poland. It's like, you couldn't get further out than where I was. Funny AF. Anyway, this is probably going to be in Japanese and English. And the English is going to be, I mean, I saw Doogie Howser was going to do one of the voices, and Lucy Liu, etc. I don't like her, I never have. I've always thought she was a bitch. So I'll give it a chance, but if the animation starts to bug me, I'm done. Okay, and I mean that. There's only so much anime I can take, and then I'm like, okay, I'm done. So there's that. Now, and of course, again, for the people that came late, Mandalorian Season 3, according to Carl Weathers, Apollo Creed himself, is going to start filming in September. All right. So, cool. Now, there's a rumor about Kevin Smith being dragged in to direct episodes of The Acolyte for Harvey Weinstein's former personal assistant. Let me explain who started that rumor. Mike Zero. Okay, I will call him out. I don't care. It is beyond my comprehension why anybody would take that and run with it, but several have. Hey, man, Piranha, I agree with Cameron, and because I know this is true, that projects that are sitting on, that are being, thank you, that are on the development schedule, that are being developed, are usually not finished by the next regime. And everything is pointing to the fact that Kennedy is done. Now, that being said, I have said this before, and I'm not really modifying my stance that Kennedy is done. But they could give her a year extension, just 1 year, so she can finish Indy 5 and, maybe this Acolyte could get started. If it does, I don't envision a lot of money going to it. Here's the deal. The reason why I don't envision this being made is because I don't see Bob Chapek as wanting to spend the money on it. The Disney park employees call him Bob Chapek, and they don't like the fact he doesn't like to spend money. Again, I've explained this before, but he's a bean counter. Disney's in a financial cul-de-sac. All right. He wants to save money. Okay. Can't save money if you're spending it on things people aren't going to watch and aren't going to want. And no one really wants The Acolyte. He knows it. He understands that. And I don't see it going forward. Now, Andre doesn't agree, but I can't see where this is going to go. I really, really can't. There's no clamoring for it. If you look at where High Republic novels are in Amazon, in the Amazon bestsellers list, because that is the best place to go look, they're not even a blip of a blip of a blip right now, anywhere on that. All right. To me, it just says that if Acolyte is part of that thing, that it's not going to be made. Because if they're not making money on the novels, and they're not. I mean, 2 years, I give it 2 years, those books are all going to be at Ollie's, okay? Because I call 2 years for a lot of the books that were written about the OT by this current administration. They're all at Ollie's right now. In fact, tomorrow I'm going to go look again, okay, so I can bring you guys the 411. And this is all anecdotal, but it's my area. And I've also said that they might be targeting areas where they think they could sell these. Demographics is everything. But SJWs don't read. I mean, if they did read and could comprehend what they were reading, they probably wouldn't be SJWs, okay? They just do whatever the current climate wants. And that's the truth. That's the bottom line. That's what they do. And it's very interesting to me when I think about it, where this is all going to be headed and where this is all going. I really think that there's a lot going on here behind the scenes that we haven't heard and we might not ever hear. But as far as like the Acolyte being made, no. I don't expect Rogue Squadron to be made. And if it is, Patty Jenkins will not be the director. I foresee somebody else coming in because I don't see Bob Chapek embracing the woke shit. I see him. I mean, I'm gonna tell you, I noticed something. I watched Mandalorian both seasons. While I've been working out on the elliptical, and I gotta admit, watching it made me go, Giancarlo Esposito as an Imperial officer, a Moff, and then the woman, the lieutenant or the captain, whatever she is, she's not Caucasian. You look at the behind the scenes stuff of Indira Varma walking along in an Imperial officer's uniform. She's Indian. She's Asian Indian. They're making everything diverse. They're not. I mean, and when you look at the sequel trilogy, the bad guys are all white, British, American, okay? Now we've got, oh yeah, you're right, Mad. And now we've got a Grand Moff, who I think is what, Giancarlo Esposito is, what, Puerto Rican? Really? And he's Grand Moff. Okay. See where I'm going with this? That's Jon Favreau making a statement of some kind there. Okay? That anybody, this is not white against everybody. Okay? And I think one of the things that I think that really bothered, I think, he's half Chilean and half Italian. Okay, thanks. Yeah, I mean, it is very diverse. Go watch the episode where Mando and Grief Karga and Cara Dune and the Mythrol go to basically remove that Imperial installation from Navarro. And yeah, it is. It's story over diversity. And Mando leaves the Razor Crest in the hands of Grief Karga's mechanics. One of the mechanics puts a tracking device on the ship. The Imperial officer that gets the message that it's on there is not a Caucasian woman at all. It's very interesting to me, And it just, I didn't really notice any of this until, well, this. And I was like, okay. And you got Giancarlo Esposito being Chilean and Italian. You got Indira Varma, who looks to, I think she's probably playing a bad guy. So it looks to me like they're going to put a diverse cast together, and you could be playing, if you're black, white, red, yellow, purple, or chartreuse spots, either a good guy or a bad guy. It doesn't matter anymore. The lily white empire is no more. And when you think about what the human species would look like in the galaxy far, far away, you would have several different. Oh, I wish I would have. You could have several different types of humans, not just black and white. You know, Billy D. Williams and Samuel L. Jackson. You could have several different kinds of humans, and it's very interesting to me. Very interesting, and I am really kind of stunned by the way Favreau and Filoni have been able to slip that under people's noses. People don't notice it. I mean, they're not. And then eventually we're going to have the overlord of all is a Chiss, a blue-skinned, red-eyed Chiss, which is, you know, very, I mean, even in the EU, when Leia in Tatooine Ghost, she notices that one of the stormtroopers chasing them had red eyes and says, the Empire must really be desperate. They're conscripting aliens now. But again, Thrawn came before that. Here's something I want you guys to pay attention to. When we get to Ahsoka, when we get to that, I have a feeling that there isn't one Imperial faction that leads into the First Order, because I think there's something going on here that's bigger than the First Order. Okay, I don't think it ends up being the First Order in the end. In fact, I think that faction ends up getting destroyed. I think what you've got here are two Imperial factions fighting each other as well as the Alliance. And I think Moff Gideon is part of one faction, and Grand Admiral Thrawn is the other faction. Okay, I don't think he has anything to do with this cloning bullshit. I really, really don't. Now, I could be wrong. But what I think is I think what we're going to see, and it would be really interesting to me, the politics of it, would be an internecine fight within the Imperial factions. Okay? Because if you remember, I do believe that did occur in the EU. And that was very interesting to me because, you know, there can be only one. Okay? And when you look at the fact that after the Emperor's killed, and we have this aftermath, and everything's like in a flux, and the Alliance is trying to turn itself into the New Republic, welcoming systems back into a kind of a cohesive, loose confederation. And then you've got Imperial factions about battling them and each other. I think that could be where the chaos really is. And you've got, you know, Moff Gideon saying, you know, security and stability and blah, blah, blah. But then you'd have Thrawn saying the same thing. But they're both entirely ambitious to lead things on their own. And maybe, just maybe, Thrawn doesn't know what they're doing. Or maybe he does. We don't know. All I know is that I don't see Moff Gideon existing in a universe with somebody like Grand Admiral Thrawn without having his ego pinched a little bit. And I don't see Thrawn sharing power or wanting to with that guy or anybody. I mean, I look at Thrawn as being somebody who looked at the Empire. I mean, when you read the books about him, and when you read Heir to the Empire and he starts thinking about Vader, he didn't like anything that Vader did during Return of the Jedi. I don't see him, I see him being loyal to the Emperor, but also smart enough to know that if they can get someone who's a Force wielder to be able to, like what they call meld, battle meditation. That's why he wanted that clone of Jorah Sabao. Was that alone, or Sabaoth or whatever. So I think there's going to be an internecine fight between Gideon and Thrawn, and this is what I think is going to happen. The Alliance ends up kind of making a tentative deal with Thrawn to get rid of Gideon. Because remember, at the end of the Civil War, and at the end of everything, after the Usain Vaughn were gone, that there was part of the galaxy that was Imperial. And there's part of the galaxy that was Alliance. Okay, maybe we'll end up with that. So that also gives us and the viewer a chance to see where they could take it. Okay, but I really don't envision Thrawn and Gideon getting along. I've wanted to talk about this for a long time. I don't envision that at all. I think we're going to get kind of an heir to the Empire kind of thing going on here. I'm going to call out a bigger channel, Eckhart's Ladder, who's friends with Hello Greedo, who's a scumbag. Star Wars, Can't Find My Dick Explained, and Steal the Shithead Saunders. This is how stupid they are. They don't see this coming. They don't see this coming at all. And I don't really care because I don't like any of them. These people are they're bad. They're very bad people. And they're not people that, I don't think any fan should really put much trust in. When I look at these guys, I mean, still Saunders and his fake tears over Luke's returning after attacking everybody on the planet for hating TLJ was an insult to everybody's intelligence. And I would say that to his face. It was an insult to our intelligence. He's a fake and a phony. And he's only using his connections to Star Wars and to Lucasfilm as part of growing his channel, and it's just like the rest of them, okay? But I do believe that there's going to be a type. It's not going to be Heir to the Empire exactly, but it's going to be kind of Heir to the Empire. They're going to draw a lot of elements out of it, and the reason why is this: those are great stories written by a great author, great characters, and the current authors at Lucasfilm can't write at all. They can't. All right. This is for Steele and Hello Greedo and the two idiots at Star Wars Explained and Eckhart's Ladder. I don't give a flying rat's ass if you like what that fat, sex-obsessed bitch Claudia Gray wrote. I don't care if you like it. It's trash. The woman doesn't even know what the word asexual means. All right, she doesn't. I'm like, that doesn't mean what you think it means. It's garbage. It doesn't sell. It never has. And don't sit there and make an excuse and say that people don't read. You people don't read. I would love to give them the books, The Winds of War and The War and Remembrance, and see how far they get before they got their stupidity got too much for them to bear. And then they'd be like, I can't read this, it's too big. It's too difficult. They're just novels, they're stories. It's about World War II. Just a minute. Kojak, what are you doing? Coach, come here. Come here, buddy. Here he comes. Come here, up. Come here. Can't see him, but he's right here. He was sleeping. He's being a very good boy right now. So they can't write. So there's a reason why Favreau and Filoni are going back to bringing this all up. All right. First off, Thrawn's a very popular character. Second of all, I still have it sitting here. This book is fantastic. And there's a reason why they put it out in reprint with that byline. All right. There's a reason. All right. Lots of changes coming. Again, but like I said, whether Kennedy leaves or not, she might very well get a 1-year contract extension or maybe a 6-month one, so they can finish Indiana Jones and the whatever, Indy 5. I don't know. That could be a possibility. However, I don't think so. I don't see Chapek wanting to do that, wanting to bring her back. And the people I mentioned before in this, the channels, and there are channels within the fandom that don't understand how this works. Go and read the articles about him. Chapek wants the people that are losing money gone. And it's the bottom line. He doesn't want people like Kennedy to have a 4-year, 3-year contract at all. He sees that she's lost money. So why would he even want her back? And personally, I've asked this before, why would she even want to come back? I wouldn't. She wasn't served well by the people she trusted, because I guarantee you she did not know 90% of the shit that was going down at Lucasfilm, because she didn't care to know. She didn't pay attention. She just said, here it is, go do it. I've got other things to do. And that's, I think, where it's at. And now, now they got Indy 5 going in. I think they're back to filming now. Harrison Ford is back in London after visiting Central Europe, Croatia, which is, fairly cool. It's very interesting to me, watching how that's gonna happen too. But so I think the way, and I haven't been on Twitter. Let's go on Twitter and see what's going on. I do want to tell you guys that Pablo Hidalgo has been singing the praises of Rogue One. When is the last time you guys saw him sing the praises of a movie he wasn't involved in? Never, right? Every time I go on here, there are things I've kept trying to shut these windows down and it won't stop it. Anyway, going to Safari, Twitter. That's a pretty sunset. All right, now I'm going to tell you guys that he has been talking a lot. I mean, I don't want to. Leave me alone. What the F? I don't understand. Now it's not letting me look. Okay, let's go back. Okay. This, okay, here we go. Okay, if I look, I can't believe this. If I go to tweets and replies, it'll go into log in, and I can't click it off. And if I do it, it goes back to his protected tweets. This is bullshit. All right. He's talking about Revenge of the Sith here. There's nothing really going on here. I'm of a mind. Okay, so this guy, oh God, you gotta see this dude. Look at it. Look at this dude. Come here. Look at this. Todd Vaziri, special edition. The intensity of someone's negative opinion on reshoots is inversely proportional to their understanding of how movies are made. When you fucking reshoot an entire fucking movie, you stupid ass. All right, that, I'm gonna go on. When I'm done here, I'm gonna take screenshots of that. Okay, so yeah, I think, yeah, he's talking about the Kufir. I think he was either in, I think Dipshit was either in Canada or in England, or in, I think he was in Greece. I think Dipshit went to Greece because I think he's trying to get a job. Hey, I don't think that was Adam Driver. They don't mention him at all. They don't mention him at all. They mention Doogie Howser and some other guy, but I don't think that I don't think Adam Driver did anything with this. So who knows? And again, Maze, this isn't canon. They've made it very, very clear that it's not. It's just something to see the Japanese anime guys kind of go at it and see what they can do. I thought it was Driver at first too, but I don't think it's not him. And maybe somebody else can go look. But I think Pablo was in Greece. Let me see something here. See if I can log in. All right, I'll do this later. Maybe I can get this thing going again. But anyway, so yeah, I don't think the Visions thing is a big deal. I'm gonna watch the first episode. It's not canon. It just looks. To be brutally honest, I think anime is boring. I really, really do. I don't like the art. It has nothing to do with me hating Asian people. I'm one of the few Americans that our Korean friends knew, who would literally eat anything they put in front of us. In fact, I was eating baby octopus, and my husband was gagging. He was looking at me going, ugh. I'm like, I'll eat anything. So, you know, it's not that. It's not my taste. It's kind of like taking me to the Metropolitan Museum of Art, Modern Art, in New York, and setting me in front of a Jackson Pollock drip painting and saying, "This is great," and me going, the guy stood over a canvas with a brush and slapped paint on it. Who cares? So no, I don't. I'm not. It's everybody has their taste. As far as I go, Monet, Manet, Vincent Van Gogh, Delacroix. You go, you get into some of these very very intense, Degas, those painters. But when it gets into something like Andy Warhol, just a minute, Kojak, what are you doing? What are you coughing? Come here. He is just a dog. That's all he is. He's a very good boy. Very good dog. It's one of those things where, I don't know. I don't appreciate it. And, a lot of people are like, well, you have to learn to appreciate it. It's like, do I have to learn to appreciate things I don't like to eat? And there are things I won't eat. Anchovies are gross. Herring in cream sauce literally makes me want to squirm. But, you're not going to get me to like something if I don't like it, if you know what I mean, right? So we'll see how this plays out, but I think it'll play well for a little bit with the anime fans within the fan culture, but within the fandom. But if the stories aren't good, they're going to get bitch slapped. I'm sorry to say it, but that's the truth. Okay, the stories have to be good. If they are not good, then there's nothing we can do about it. Okay, there's literally absolutely nothing we can do about it. We're not going to come back. The reason why I think the Bad Batch is getting a second season is simply, yeah, well, I'm going to give episode 1 a chance. And if I don't like it, I'm not going to come back. If I see that they've gone a little too far with some things that really were egregious, I'm not going to come back, and they're going to hear about it. Okay. I don't care if that artist liked the sequel trilogy. He's one of the few people who did. Okay. I don't like it, and I don't think that it needs to be upheld by Lucasfilm for any reason. It's not something that people want back. You know what I'm saying? So, it is as it is. I mean, I am very interested to seeing where this is going. you know, but we gotta see what happens with it. Now, again, back to the Kevin Smith thing. He's not going to be directing any Acolyte because she's not going to get that show made. It's not going to happen. I don't envision that happening at all. I really, really don't. So, you know, the story came from Mike Zero. We all know where, the standing that Mike Zero has with anybody with integrity. All right, it's not going to happen. Again, Bob Iger or Bob Chapek is not about to hire somebody like that. I think he's got his ear to the ground. I think he knows what people wants. So anyway, and I've got a thing I've got to do right now, so I am going to leave you guys. Anything happens today, it's Tuesday, August 17th, 2021. I'll talk to y'all later, see you around the galaxy, and we'll meet back here tomorrow. I know the end of this was kind of boring, but beyond Mandalorian starting to film in September and Vision's trailer being dropped and debunking the Kevin Smith myth, really isn't much to talk about. And we could talk about the Shang-Chi actor losing his shit over Iger not really saying anything wrong, but it's just another, Kevin Feige doesn't realize it, but he is about ready to get his ass kicked. All right, Steph signing out. See you right, guys, around the galaxy.